One evening a while ago, they were reviewing the test questions they had done together on Roswitha's bed. At this moment, while looking at the exam paper, Roswitha suddenly thought of a question that was not on the exam paper. How should we answer when asked about our wedding anniversary? After all, we have never been officially married, and I became pregnant before getting married. Leon closed his eyes and carefully considered the answer to the question. If they mention a memorable day, it can only be that day, right? Before Leon could even speak up about the date, Roswitha said it first. It is the year 1733 in the Genesis calendar. May 25th. Leon and Roswitha moved closer to each other with easy smiles on their faces. And together they said that very important date. That was the day I bonded with Roswitha in the dungeon. Leon silently thought in his heart. On that day, Leon was forced to bond with Roswitha, who had suffered from the side effects of his spell, and had 2 lovely daughters. This is an unforgettable day for Leon and Roswitha. Vice Principal Wilson looked down at the information sheet again, and thoughtfully touched his beard, surprised by their marriage. Married for less than 2 years, the child is already over a year old. This progress seems to be faster than that of an average family. Leon smiled apologetically. In order to dispel the vice principal's concerns, he immediately explained this experience. Haha, we fall in love at first sight, have a good relationship, and get pregnant soon after getting married. The vice principal nodded, as if he had no further questions about the answer. He looked up and continued to ask them questions. Have you noticed any flaws or bad habits in your partner during the past 2 years of marriage? Leon and Roswitha answered his question without hesitation. Roswitha's answer was no, while Leon's answer was yes. The vice principal noticed the inconsistency in their answers and looked at them curiously. Although there doesn't seem to be anything wrong with this answer. In fact, it was specially arranged by them. Leon said quietly in his mind, "Our answers need to be a mix of true and false to be credible." The vice principal turned his gaze to Leon, wanting to hear Leon's answer. "Please." Leon lowered his head and placed his hand on his chest, with a hint of sadness on his face. "I sometimes feel like I don't have much presence." Next, Leon used all his acting skills to show the 3 examiners that a husband admired his wife very much. "My wife is too capable. Whether it's matters within the Dragon clan or household chores like taking care of the children, she handles them in an orderly manner." Roswitha watched him act there with an expressionless face. She was somewhat speechless about his exaggerated performance. Then, Leon affectionately held Roswitha's hand and showed his deep love for her to Roswitha. Roswitha felt a little helpless, but now she could only pretend to look at him with affection. But she builds up stress too easily. So, I want to take the opportunity of this interview to tell her. I also want to do more for this family. Just feel free to rely on me. Although that's what he said, Leon added another sentence in his mind. Don't stress me out in the future. The female examiner sitting on the left side of the vice principal couldn't help but exclaim when she saw such a caring husband for his wife. She turned her gaze to Roswitha and asked her a question. "You are truly a considerate and good husband. What do you think is the most attractive aspect of your husband, Miss Roswitha?" "He is handsome, has a good figure, is focused, serious, intelligent, not greasy, responsible, likes children, and won't easily lose his temper. After Roswitha finished speaking, her face also turned slightly red. Although she seemed a bit reluctant, she still spoke a lot about Leon's strengths. Then, she continued to supplement what she had just said. Although his body is a bit worse than before marriage, it's not a big problem. My husband is also skilled at making medicine, and he can use various medications to regulate himself. Upon hearing this, Leon's smiling mouth twitched slightly. Are you complimenting me or undermining me? Roswitha turned and also took Leon's hand firmly in hers, and looked at him fondly. She spoke softly to him. So, I also want to take the opportunity of the interview to say to my husband, you don't force yourself too much. At this moment, Roswitha's hand secretly exerted force, tightening Leon's grip even tighter. This seems to be retaliation for Leon's behavior towards her just now. Leon clearly felt the pain coming from his hand, but he couldn't shout out in front of the examiners, so he had to silently endure it. The three examiners looked at the loving couple with smiles on their faces, and couldn't help but secretly comment in their hearts, what a super loving couple. Next, the three examiners continued to ask them questions. Some of these questions are simple, while others still require their cooperation to be fully answered. However, throughout the entire process, both Leon and Roswitha were able to answer the questions smoothly. Finally, the family assessment was coming to an end. The examiner sitting to the right of the vice principal posed one final question to them. So, at the end of the interview, do you have any questions you would like to ask each other? This is an additional question, and the interviewee needs to speak the truth. Roswitha shook her head gently and answered the question with a smile on her face. I don't have any questions to ask my husband. I know everything about him. However, it seemed that Leon still had some questions to raise. He leaned against the sofa, touching his chin with one hand, as if he was seriously thinking something. Roswitha peeked over at him, noting that Leon still had the appearance of wanting to ask a question, and thought a little nervously. Say more, be more wrong. Hurry up and finish the assessment. Leon turned his head and looked seriously at Roswitha. You like the toy bear I gave you, right? Roswitha was somewhat surprised by Leon's question. She really couldn't figure out why a dragon slayer would specifically ask a dragon such a question. Why is he asking such a question at this moment that has nothing to do with identity, position, and grudges? His ideas always come as a bit unexpected. She looked shyly aside, raised her hand to tidy her hair around her ear, and nodded. Yes, I really like the toy bear you gave me. After hearing her answer, Leon patted his hand contentedly and smiled happily. Okay, I'm fine now. The family assessment officially ended. The three examiners stood up, and Leon and Roswitha also stood up with them. The vice principal shook hands with Leon. So, the interview ends here. The assessment results will be sent to the Silver Dragon Temple through the messenger dragon in a few days. Thank you again for your cooperation. After waiting for Noah to finish the written test, Leon, Roswitha, and Noah returned to the Silver Dragon Temple together. A few days later, a small messenger dragon landed on the windowsill. It carried a bamboo tube on its back. Noah's assessment result had been delivered here. Muin excitedly told Noah. "Noah, messenger dragon has arrived." Leon took off the bamboo tube and placed it on the table to open it. "Open it up quickly and take a look." Roswitha looked nervously at the bamboo tube. Noah and Muin looked at the bamboo tube with very expectant eyes. Leon took out an admission letter from the bamboo tube with the emblem of St. Hiss Academy. The letter had these lines written on it. "Dear Noah, K. Melkivi, congratulations on passing our assessment. Please report to Academy and attend the admission ceremony in 3 days." The four faces of the family crowded together and repeatedly looked at the few lines on the notification letter, all feeling very surprised. Leon and Roswitha couldn't help but say the same thing. Noah passes the assessment. It was Noah who was most surprised. "I passed the assessment." Noah really passed the entrance examination. Seeing this news, all four people were particularly happy. Muin happily hugged Noah. "Noah is great. Mom and Dad are great." Noah held the admission letter, and finally a smile appeared on her usually expressionless face. Leon and Roswitha stood behind them, looking at them with joyful expressions. Roswitha turned her body to look at Leon. Her nervous mood instantly dissipated. She thanked him. "Thank you." Leon proudly touched his nose. "Don't thank me. It's mainly up to Noah herself. My daughter is wonderful." To celebrate Noah's successful admission to St. Hiss Academy, Roswitha walked into the kitchen and prepared to personally cook a meal to reward everyone. "Make a big meal today to celebrate. You come to help, so as not to say that you don't have a presence in this home." Leon followed behind her and replied with a joking tone. Okay. I notice that you are very narrow-minded and always hold grudges."
Wait a moment, please. I have already opened an Instagram account. Welcome everyone to follow my Instagram account. Send me a screenshot of your follow page via private message on Instagram, and you can get the wallpaper of Shut Up Evil Dragon for free.